Good afternoon. It is 5:30 p.m. and I will call this City Council meeting of October 15th, 2024 to order. I'm presiding tonight at the request of Mayor Wright. We acknowledge that this meeting is being held on the ancestral lands of the Coast Salish people, and we pay our respect to those past and present. Our invocation this evening is provided by Pastor Kevin Scott of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. I see Pastor Scott is on the line there. We will immediately follow the invocation with the pledge, so if you would like, please rise and join us in an invocation followed by the pledge. Pastor Scott? Pastor Scott, can you hear us? Pastor Scott, can you hear us?
I can, yes.
We're ready for you.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, I just want to thank you, Lord, for this opportunity tonight to meet as with the council, with the mayor. You promised us wisdom, Lord. I pray that you will give that to the council people this morning and this evening, and to the mayor as they govern our town of Oak Harbor, Lord. May your Holy Spirit grant that wisdom, and may everything be done to your honor and glory, I pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. There will be no singing. This will be both a physical meeting and a virtual meeting. Some members of city staff or consultants may be participating via teleconference. Today's meeting may be viewed on YouTube, Facebook, and following the meeting on cable channel 10 HD 1090. This time I will ask our city clerk, Julie, to do a roll call.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Councilmember Wiesner.
Present.
Councilmember Stuckey.
Present.
Councilmember Hoffmeyer.
Present.
Councilmember Marshall.
Present.
Councilmember Arms. Present. Mayor Pro Tem, Councilmember Wiggenstein has asked to be excused this evening.
Good. I will entertain such a motion.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved by Councilor Wiesner, second by Councilor Marshall, to excuse Councilor Wiggenstein from tonight's meeting. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Thank you. Are there any suggested changes to the regular agenda? Okay, hearing none, it will be approved as presented. And to kick us off tonight, we have a presentation by Oak Harbor Public Schools Superintendent. I'm afraid I'm going to pronounce your name wrong, Michelle, so you can please go to the podium and introduce yourself for us so I can lock it in my memory.
All right. Well, if you want to lock it in the memory, we're all going to do an activity. Can you all say you?
You.
Can you say it again? You.
You.
Okay. So my name is Michelle Kuss-Cybula, and I am the superintendent of Oak Harbor, and very excited to be here. I want to also not only thank City Council and the Mayor and Mayor Pro Tem for allowing me to be here, but I have two people that are very important I want to introduce. I have our school board member, Josh McLean, here, and I also have my right-hand woman, Katie Andrews. So she takes care of my calendar, and she's the warm, friendly voice that you always hear on the other end of the phone when you can't get a hold of me. So tonight's presentation is a little bit of everything, but last night at our board meeting, our board approved the levy that will go on the February ballot. So because this presentation was submitted a week ago, I don't have a lot of information, but would love to come back. So I'll talk a little bit about that as well as our work that we're doing this year. How many people know what's going on in Oak Harbor Public Schools that has to do with construction right now? Thank you. So we have some amazing things happening. Construction is one of them, but the construction started actually many years ago for the two school projects, but the construction of our strategic plan happened when I came. This is my start of my third year. And when I was hired, our board said, We want a strategic plan because we've been operating 20-plus years without a vision and a mission. And so how do we get back to really being collective and united on what our work is as Oak Harbor Public Schools? So we went out to the community and we asked them to be part of this journey. So for the past 2 years, we've been constructing our strategic plan. So it started 2 years ago. We went out to our customers, which are our students. And if we can't pass their muster, we're doing the job wrong. So we went out to our students and we asked them a few questions. We said, hey, we're building this business plan and we're going to be held accountable to the business plan. What do you think our business should be? So we asked them questions. Some we asked in person and surveys, and we went out, and every principal, when they started school last year, met with every single one of their students and asked the same questions. So from preschool, can you imagine the questions we asked, all the way to age 21, and we asked our students, what do you think we should be doing in Oak Harbor to support you? So they gave us lots of information. We had thousands and thousands and thousands of pieces of data, and we started that journey with a few things and asking them, their voice matters to us. And so when we really realized the dream of a strategic plan for Oak Harbor, this is what we want to accomplish for all of our students. We want our students to say, I feel valued and understood as a student in Oak Harbor Public Schools. We want them to walk away from preschool all the way up to the age of 21 saying, Oak Harbor believes in me and my future. And we also want them to say that I can take risks academically, and I'm learning and I'm succeeding academically because people believe in me. So this is what students told us, and then we went to work. 2 years worth of work, we went out to our families and we asked them the same questions. But let's talk a little bit about what it means when students feel valued, understood, and feels that all of Oak Harbor believes in them.
Welcome to Oak Harbor Public Schools, where our community is dedicated to empowering students and growing together as one Oak Harbor.
And our strategic plan is putting our students first. At Oak Harbor Public Schools, I am valued and understood for who I am.
And my voice matters.
Dari Oak Harbor High School, nakuas na naha.
In Oak Harbor Public Schools, we are set up for success
And are able to take risks to take our learning to new heights.
Oak Harbor believes in me
And my future.
Oak Harbor Public School orang sak.
Oak Harbor Public Schools challenges me.
Oak Harbor Public School supports me.
Oxe, meu filho, minha voz não importa assim nessa bodega, pô.
And prepares me for a brighter future. That's brighter than expected. And remember,
In Oak Harbor Public Schools, I know I belong.
because we are one Oak Harbor.
Because we are one Oak Harbor.
So when we asked students, this is what they told us they wanted, which was pretty remarkable. When you sit down and spend time with students, they are really honest about what they want. And we created environments for them to be truthfully honest with us so that we could create this plan. Then we went out to our community, business partners, many of you actually were part of our process, and we asked you what was most important for you as a community member, a parent, a grandparent, a citizen that is not connected to any students of Oak Harbor. When we think about students that are going to replace us many years from now, what is it that we need to do as Oak Harbor to make sure we don't lose sight of? So we had 3 values that our community said were very important to them. Academic excellence was number 1. Not only with students and families, but people disconnected from the school system said you have to have academic excellence. You have to raise the bar, and you have to have strong support with strong academic excellence. It was also important to us about inclusion and belonging. I mean, who wants to come to school and don't feel like you belong or you're included? And their voice matters, but also their presence matters. So we wanted to make sure that we really address this whole concept of inclusion and belonging. And last week, we were able to celebrate and invite people to come to Hillcrest Elementary because we created sensory boards for our students. So students who are nonverbal, they have a place in the classroom and in the school, but when they come out to the playground, it's hard to communicate when you are in an environment with many other students that you don't interact with every day. So even having a sensory board on the playground, not only do the Oak Harbor Public School students are able to access the sensory boards, and the community help fundraise for those sensory boards, but people who are visiting from outside of the community, they come and they use our playgrounds, and if they're nonverbal, they're also able to communicate. So that's an example of our inclusion and belonging practices. And then collaboration. We can't do this work alone. And I know as parents are the first and the most valuable asset of being a teacher to their child, and we want to honor that. We also want to partner with them. What are things that we're doing right? What are things that we need to figure out how to continue to do better? Same thing with our business partners here in Oak Harbor. What's important to them when they're hiring our students to come and work in their businesses? What's important for us to do together to collaborate on what the work is for Oak Harbor? So let's hear what our community had to say about those 3 foundational ideas in our strategic plan.
In Oak Harbor Public Schools, we challenge every student to be the best they can be.
And we focus on academic excellence for all students.
We have high expectations for each other and our students.
Chalmos Joseph Guinto.
To provide every student with the support they need to reach their fullest potential.
We value relationships and work to ensure every student feels included, valued, and understood.
And honor every learner's unique characteristics, perspectives, and experiences.
In Oak Harbor Public Schools, families are a key partner in their students' education.
Como madre, yo estoy involucrada y comprometida en el aprendizaje de mis hijos.
We value and build community partnerships.
Because as one Oak Harbor, we are better together.
Because as one Oak Harbor, we are better together.
Oi aku ka mai kai o ka mako hui puana.
We are better together. We are better together.
We are better together.
So now you know what we're all about here in Oak Harbor Public Schools.
We invite you to learn more and get involved.
With the support of our community, we can achieve anything. Because as one Oak Harbor,
We are empowering students and we are growing together.
Aren't they adorable? I always say when we graduate students from Oak Harbor High School, all of us graduate students from Oak Harbor Public Schools. And I think about, that's what drew me here to Oak Harbor, was we have so much diversity in our small little community, and we have one high school. We're a one high school town, and there's a lot of power to that, and we couldn't do this work without all of us doing this work together. So when you look at our foundations, strong teaching and learning systems were part of our foundational ideas, as well as strong family and community partnerships, and really thinking about making sure we're accountable to our fiscal integrity, not only of state-of-the-art facilities, but our fiscal accountability. And also looking at that strong community of inclusion, safety, and belonging. We want all people that come in and out of our schools to feel safe, to feel included, and feel like they have a place where they belong. We have a couple goal areas as well. Each school gets goal area 1, so wherever you are in the continuum of learning and growth, from hand-in-hand preschool all the way up to our exceptional academy, where students attend till the age of 22, they have the goal of social-emotional learning. So what that means is the ability to be accountable for inclusionary practices, which means a sense of belonging, a sense of attendance, to make sure we're increasing attendance every day, and for kids to know we have relationships in the building that can support them through thick and thin. Our elementary schools have goal area 2, which is Ready, Set, Grow, so really focusing on closing the achievement gap with literacy, as well as mathematics and science, and thinking about the mastery of learning standards for Oak Harbor Intermediate School and North Whidbey, and our future ready goals are the high school, so really thinking about our home connection families and Oak Harbor High School. So that is really thinking about our work around strategic plan. Pretty remarkable, huh? When you ask students, they'll tell you. And that's exactly what this strategic plan reflects, is not only what our community values, but what our students are holding us accountable here in Oak Harbor Public Schools. When I think about the uniqueness of Oak Harbor, I also think about the community values in support of things that the state does not support for us. I don't know if you've ever heard the story, but Washington State doesn't do a very good job of providing fully funding equitable formulas to all schools in the state of Washington. As a result, we lean on local levies to support what we need to do our job here in Oak Harbor. And part of that is on this list here. You see, these are the things that our community has valued through the support of our local levies. We have fantastic art and music programs. We have phenomenal athletics. We have after-school programs that really help build that confidence for students and give them extra opportunities. I was one of those students that never came home because home wasn't fun, but I could be at school 24 hours a day and have those programs after school. We also heard from our community with our bond work a couple years ago when I came in, and then throughout this, safety was a factor, and it was really important to our community to enhance the safety. So we've set aside some of our levy funding to really support safety. We have technology that's supported. Our kids are one-to-one devices now. That's how they learn. And so thinking about our levy support and really making sure that we can maintain the device and the infrastructure to support students to be state-of-the-art facilities. And when I say structural facility, I also mean software facility. And we have special education services that are far above and beyond what the state provides for us. We know here in Oak Harbor, because of NAS Whidbey, we're an exceptional base, which means we attract families that stay here while they're enlisted military members, because our programs and services really meet the needs, and the proximity to Children's Hospital really helps provide them with well-rounded support services for their children. So speaking of levy, dollars in action, our board last night, like I mentioned earlier, approved a renewal levy. So in February, we will be going out, happy to come back to City Council and provide more information, but we'll be going out for a renewal levy to make sure that we're funding those things that our community feel that is important for our students here in Oak Harbor. I promised I would talk about construction. Aren't you excited? I don't know. When you dig dirt, lots of people get interested. So we have dirt being dug up, and lots of people are interested. This dream also took many years to become a reality, and I know strong support from City Council and our mayor, who have been able to, for years, continuously provide us the support in our local legislators. So a reminder that we have Department of Defense funds for these two schools because they are located on military property. None of our other schools qualify because they are not located on military property, but we only received 80% of the funding. So our two failed bonds, we were not able to provide the 20%, and we were probably about a couple days away from saying goodbye to these projects, and that means the funding goes elsewhere in the country to other schools that are ready to cough up the 20%. We applied to 2 state grants, and with the help of our local legislators and some trips to Olympia and maybe DC as well, we were able to get the funding for that 20%. So we were able to get state funding to match the federal funding, which is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And I say that here in Oak Harbor, and people are like, yeah, that's incredible. But when I tell my other superintendent colleagues in the state, they get really mad at me. Mm-hmm. So this has never happened in the state of Washington, where 2 schools are built without local support. I'll say it again because it's pretty remarkable. When I called OSPI, the Office of Superintendent Public Instruction, they had no clue what I was talking about because it's never happened. We're building 2 schools, no funding, by local support. It's state grant and federal grants for these 2 schools. So let's talk about what they are. So the 2 schools are Crescent Harbor, which is off Crescent Harbor Road, and we're building in the back of the property. So if you have not driven by there, we had 21 trucks come and pour all the cement, the concrete, for the foundation on Monday. So can you imagine? So if Deception Pass was a little busy, I apologize. We had lots of trucks coming back and forth to really get the foundation started. Our other site is Hand in Hand Home Connection Virtual Learning Academy. It's a lot. There's a lot of different programs in that building, and that will be built off Regatta. And we've worked with city planners and engineers, so thank you so much for that, to make sure that we're really being aware of the traffic already on Regatta and moving that to the very end of Regatta. So we're really not conflicting with the traffic that's already a bottleneck there on Regatta because of Olympic View Elementary School. So those two schools, and we have a couple things for you to remind you of the groundbreaking, which is going to happen next week. Katie, do we have little handouts? Like I said, Katie is my right-hand woman. All right. Thank you. Katie's going to pass them out. So these are the two schools that we have. We're hoping that you can all come to our groundbreaking. And we also have a little gift. So as I said, we ground broke on two schools about a month ago. But the other thing is we did groundbreaking on our strategic plan. So together we went to Bailey Construction and Tiger Construction, who are doing our two schools, and asked, would you help support us with a little gift to all of our staff so everybody can get energized about our strategic plan and the groundbreaking for the two schools. And so they were able to sponsor t-shirts for all of our staff with our new strategic plan logo and vision. So you all have one coming. Katie will pass those out as well. So any questions?
Thank you, Michelle. At this time, I will turn to council for questions, comments. Councilor Wiesner.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Hi, Michelle.
Hi.
So I think you've heard this story before, but I think it's worth reminding everybody, you talk about this, renewal levy, right? And there was a time that we didn't support renewal levies, right? That there was a time in 1974, I think, to be exact, that the community thought basic education could be funded by the state of Washington. And just want to make sure that everybody's clear so that we don't relive the same nightmares, right, that we did then. All the cool stuff about school is funded by these local levies, and they're not a want. They're a need. In 1974, we did away with athletics. We did away with all art programs, all extracurricular activity. We took school programming back to 5 periods a day. We removed lunch programs. We removed before school programs. We removed after school programs. Right? Everything, right? And you go back to this community of inclusion and belonging, and throughout the deal, support of our children. That's not what we did in 1974. And so let's not repeat that. Let's keep the message loud and clear that these renewal levies are a requirement to support our children and keep up with times. I swear, I think it took probably 15, maybe 20 years to recover from those 3 failed levies. I can remember dodging buckets in Oak Harbor Intermediate School, and there would literally be 8 to 10 buckets down a single hallway catching water during the winter, right? And it took a long time for us to get back to where we are. In fact, the levies that were approved shortly after that, when the community realized what they did, that's what built our new high school. 1977. So it's 40.
That was our last bond.
Yeah, 47 years old. And that's when the community finally realized, oops, we made a mistake, and tough lesson to learn. And so I just want to make sure we're reminding folks of that, so we don't repeat it. Thanks for all you do. I love the inclusion and the things you're talking about. Supporting our kids, that's what we do as a community. We support our future.
We do. Thank you so much for bringing that up. I have people that I've met in the community. You were one of them when I first started here in Oak Harbor, and people still tear up when they talk about being a student here in Oak Harbor when the bonds failed and the levies failed year after year after year. And, one of these value statements by students is Oak Harbor believes in me and my future. And I talk to people who have graduated and lived through the years of failed levies and bonds and said, Oak Harbor didn't believe in me. And so that's extremely important. And they will tear up to this day when they talk about that. Any other questions?
Thank you, Councilor Wiesner. Any other? Councilor Hoffmeyer.
Yeah, I remember first time we met would be coffee. I think it was probably a month before you were on the job even or something like that, in the summertime, July or something. You know, and I think our conversation involved, I wasn't sure if they were putting you on a winnable task. You know, I didn't know if the voters could get behind that money. And you're like, well, I'm a fighter, I'll find a way. You sure as hell are. Oak Harbor is incredibly lucky to have you. Thank you. Thank you for fighting for all of our kids and making this happen.
I love my job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Hoffmeyer. Any other council comments, questions? I've got one of my own. I've dodged those same buckets in the hallway, and I just in this room, I can see several people who are products of Oak Harbor schools, and I am one of them. I graduated in the 90s, and in that entire 12-year span, there was never a levy passed, and I will never forget what that felt like. It was bad. The condition of the physical buildings it was not good, and year after year after year, the message loud and clear was the community does not support you. And because I will never forget what that felt like as a student, I will always do everything I can to support your work and the school district in general and the students especially, because like you said, they're going to end up in this room someday, and I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much for the information, and we would definitely love to have you back to get some more details about levies or how we can help, what we can do to support you.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michelle. Okay, next up, I believe we've got citizen comment period. Yes, citizens may comment on consent agenda items or subjects of interest that are not listed on tonight's agenda. Citizens will have the opportunity to comment on the remaining agenda items during the meeting as appropriate. Citizens can also visit our website prior to our meetings for methods to submit public comment or contact our city clerk, Julie Nestor, by phone or email. When submitting your comments, please include your name and address. Public comment sent anonymously or from false addresses will be shared with the mayor and council but will not be displayed during the meeting. Are there any members of the public present who wish to speak to items not listed on tonight's agenda? Do we have anybody sign in?
No
Julie?
one signed up, Mayor. We do
Okay.
have one public comment that came in ahead of the meeting, and I believe Mikhail has that on the next slide.
Perfect. Thank you. Last call for public comment before we move on? Okay. We'll now move on to our consent agenda. Staff has presented the listed consent agenda items, all of which were included in our meeting packet. Are there any objections, changes, questions regarding tonight's consent agenda? Is your hand raised or are you messing with your pen? Okay. All right. Seeing none, that is approved as presented. Next up, mayor and council comments. The mayor has a few comments here that I will make on his behalf. The new design for our school resource officer vehicle. You can check out our new Oak Harbor Police Department vehicle. The design was part of a partnership with the Oak Harbor Public Schools and the Oak Harbor High School Career Technical Education, CTE, and instructor Jana Jansen's graphic design program. Student Emmeline Payne created the design, which was brought to life by Jeff Humphrey of Humphrey Sign Company. The design showcases the schools supported by Oak Harbor Police Department and symbolizes the ongoing and strong #OneOakHarbor partnership, maintaining safe learning environments for all students. School Resource Officer Tyler Adamson supports all Oak Harbor public schools. And that vehicle is actually parked right out front of City Hall at the moment. It looked great. And I saw its picture in the paper as well. Board and commission openings. The city has openings on a number of our advisory boards, commissions, a list of which are displayed on the screen. Please fill out an application online if you are interested in serving. The city also has openings for employment in several areas. See our website for a complete listing. And fall is here, and so there are many new seasonal events happening in our area, just a few of which are displayed on the screen. Council members have been invited to participate in several events. Please RSVP to the city clerk if you will be attending. At this time, I will call upon City Council. Any comments, questions, thoughts? I can't tell if your hand's up or if you're missing your pen.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. There will be no singing. Oh, okay.
Yeah, sing to yourself.
Right. Any other council comments? Okay. We're moving right along. Contracts and agreements. Item 8, we have a mutual release and hold harmless agreement for our fire department live burn. And to introduce and present this topic, we have our new fire chief, Travis Anderson. Chief?
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity to stand up here. Again, this is just, we were donated 2 structures to do live fire training, which is important for fire service. It's the only time we get a controlled environment and operate in something that we would experience in real life. So part of that is they want to hold harmless agreement where if we get injured or something happens, obviously they're not held accountable for that and vice versa. So this in front of you is just that document that we're asking City Council to approve to sign so we can do that live fire training, which will happen a week from next Saturday. And if anyone wants to come out, you're welcome to come out. We'll probably start around 9 in the morning out at that structure. So it'd be great to have you out there. And I'm here for any questions that you may have.
Sorry, can you repeat the time?
It's approximately about 9 a.m. and we're going to go till about 4 or 5 p.m. So.
On which day?
I'm sorry?
On which day?
On Saturday, it's the 26th.
26, thank you. Do we have any members of the public that would wish to comment on this item? Seeing none, I'll turn to council. Comments, questions for the chief? Councilor Stuckey.
We normally do, but my only comment would be make sure that we publicize it well in advance on social media and whatnot. Whatever. There's still people saying what's going on, even despite that, but it does help. So.
And we have already notified the houses that are around that area
Sure.
that will be going on, and we'll continue to do that and work with our communications staff to put that out, and let them know what's going on.
Sure. Well,
So-
thank you for doing that. And you know, if anyone hasn't gone, they've I think most of us here have gone, and it's interesting and exciting and informative to be out there. So.
Yeah, so if anyone would like to go, let us know and we can get you all the stuff you need to do beforehand. If you'd like to go in and watch a fire grow, we do have some new technology in our thermal imagers we just bought that helps us locate victims that are in a fire, and so it's kind of a great opportunity to see how those work, and see where our money's going, and see what it's like in the environment. So please let me know if you'd like to go.
Thank you. Councilor Hoffmeyer.
Yeah, getting in the bunker gear and, being able to go in there and you wouldn't think you'd be able to feel the heat through all that gear, but it's still hot as heck. And, I remember telling Chief Merrill that it seemed like if any one of our residents could just spend a couple minutes in there, they would certainly support everything you do, including levies. So I think a lot of us up here have had the opportunity, but I mean, if other partners, if there's anybody at the school or something that wanted the opportunity, it's pretty special. So I don't know if Josh or Michelle might want to take you up on it, but it's pretty amazing. Thanks.
Yeah, really eye-opening. Any other council comments, questions, motions?
Chief, I assume this has been looked at by legal?
It has, yes, yep. They actually provided the agreement, and then legal redlined a lot of stuff. We used our exact language we wanted. They were fine with what our legal wanted.
Okay.
I move to authorize the mayor to sign the mutual release and hold harmless agreement with Preston Heights LLC for live burn structures training by the Oak Harbor Fire Department.
Second.
That was a close one. I'm going to give the second to Wiesner. It's been moved by Councilor Marshall, seconded by Councilor Wiesner to approve the contract as presented. Any further comments or questions, discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Thank you. See, our grant administrator, Wendy, is approaching the podium. Next up, we've got our Washington State Department of Commerce Connecting Housing to Infrastructure Program grant application. Go ahead,
Good
Wendy.
evening, Mayor Pro Tem. Happy birthday, and council. I'm going to be talking about the Washington State Department of Commerce Connecting Housing to Infrastructure program tonight. This is a program that actually was started in 2021, but the the governor reauthorized it in 2023 and provided $55 million for the program to continue. It's a program to fund grants and deferred loans to local governments and public utility districts or their contracted service providers for system development charges and utility improvements for new affordable housing projects that serve and benefit low-income households. And the purpose of the CHIP program is to encourage development of affordable housing in communities. So you may be aware that Island County has awarded the Opportunity Council and Shelter Resources the Mulberry Village project, which is located on Swantown. This is going to be an 80-unit multifamily affordable housing project. It's going to include 21 bedrooms, 42 bedroom and 23 bedroom units, including, and then also a community building. So the CHIP grant, both rental and owner occupied projects are eligible for the funding. The program, again, it provides reimbursement for utility infrastructure, including the water, sewer, storm drain, and this program awards up to $1 million. Shelter Resources, who is managing this program for the Opportunity Council, is estimating that the utility infrastructure is going to cost approximately $2.5 million to install, and that's in today's numbers, so we don't really know what the number is, but that's the estimate. So the CHIP grant is part of the Commerce Growth Management Services Department. This grant itself is going to be a partnership with the Opportunity Council and Shelter Resources. We actually will be the granting agency if we are awarded the money. The Opportunity Council will actually be a subrecipient of the grant. And so what that means is that we as a city will monitor the project and ensure that all the contractors that the Opportunity Council and Shelter Resources uses have been vetted through the debarment and suspension federal database. We will file all the reports. We'll do all the financial reimbursement requests to the federal or state government. And then we will actually pay the Opportunity Council reimbursement for the actual expenses that they have. So as I mentioned, or I might have mentioned, I didn't, there's no match required, but the project is so expensive that obviously the Opportunity Council and Shelter Resources will be finding other funding for the other $1.5 million for the remainder of the project. And they are applying for other funds like the Housing Trust Fund and potentially other grants. And it is due on October 31st, 2024. And we do have representatives from Shelter Resources online right now if you guys have any questions for them about the project itself or about the grant. They have received one of these grants, I believe a couple of years ago for the Camas project that they did. And they're happy to answer any questions. But that is all I have. So I'm happy to answer any of your questions.
Thank you, Wendy. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to comment on this agenda item? Seeing none, I will turn to council. Councilor Stuckey.
Yeah, I've heard about this project for a little while, do we have any just real rough ballpark on this project of timelines?
So I would like to defer to our representatives
I thought that
from
was-
Shelter Resources.
Hi, Councilmember. My apologies. My laptop camera is not working, so you will not be able to see my face. My name is Ophelia Davis with Shelter Resources. As Wendy mentioned, this project is in partnership with Opportunity Council and Shelter Resources. Right now, we have applied for funding from Housing Trust Fund, from the Skagit County Home Consortium, and if all goes well, we'll apply for 4% bond next January. And if we're funded, then within 6 months, we should be able to secure investors and hopefully secure permit and start construction sometime in early fall next year. So that's the current schedule right now.
Great, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Councilor Marshall.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Wendy, are our administrative costs covered by this grant?
No, this is just kind of a straight pass-through grant, for lack of a better way of saying that.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other council questions? Councilor Wiesner.
Yeah, I'm excited the fact that we can, at least help a little with this project. It's nice that the county's coming in and building the project here in the city, and obviously it's going to have a good effect on the residents. And we don't have the deep pockets to build affordable housing projects yet, but obviously by receiving a pass-through grant, it's our little way of helping. So I'm happy to move to authorize the mayor to sign the letter of support for the Washington State Department of Commerce Connecting Housing to Infrastructure Program Grant.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved by Councilor Wiesner, second by Councilor Marshall to approve the recommended action as presented. Any further discussion, comments, questions? Okay, all those in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed? And that also passes unanimously. Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you.
I didn't realize the motion would be made halfway through saying it.
For our last agenda item of the evening, we've got our Salary Commission report in order, and to introduce this topic, our Human Resources Director, Emma House, will present. Emma?
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem. Good evening, Council. Emma House, Human Resources Director, and I'm here to present the Salary Commission report in order for council members for 2024. It's included in your agenda packet. There is no action required from council. It is simply to let you know of the action that your Salary Commission has taken and that has gone into effect. And I'm here to answer any questions.
Thank you, Emma.
You're welcome.
Are there any members of the public that wish to comment on this agenda item? No? Okay, at this time I will turn to council. Any comments, questions? I do want to say that I spoke to our city administrator earlier today, and to follow up on some of the questions or discussion about the actual makeup of the Salary Commission, their role and responsibilities, et cetera, we are going to be having that discussion, I believe, at our next workshop. So tonight is just the information item about the salary, or the council salary specifically, but we will have an opportunity to have a broader discussion next week. Councilor Stuckey.
I'll jump into the fray. Because obviously this has been a little controversial topic as of late. And I always like to kind of put the math in there. So it's an additional $425 a month, essentially, correct?
Correct.
It was interesting that the Salary Commission, they asked us for how many hours we thought we all worked. And they took I think most of us gave a range. On the low end, it was 22 hours a week. On the high end, I think it was 26, so we were all kind of similar. At 22 hours a week, our total salary would be $12.59 an hour. Just a thought. They were suggesting that maybe in the future we'll be working 30 hours a week. That would then bring that to $9.23 an hour. I point that out because it's a large percentage increase. It's 40-some-odd%, which sounds like an awful lot. But I think it's more keeping us in line with other municipalities. If someone thinks that that's too much, go ahead and write in. I mean, if enough people write in, I'd gladly donate that back, but I don't think it is unreasonable. So that is all I have.
Thank you, Counselor Stuckey. Any further questions, discussion, comments? Okay, thank you, Emma.
Thank you so much.
All right, at this time, I will ask if there is any further business, anything for the good of the order, anything we left out? No, all right, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Counselor Marshall, second by Counselor Wiesner to adjourn tonight's meeting. All those in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed? Barbara's already out of